Without a shadow of a doubt, we back again. Man, I've been watching them all day. They trying to emulate us. Everybody and their mama got a talk show now. But it still can't mess with the originators. I feel like Little Richard tonight, man. Say, I want to welcome you to the War Zone with my co-host Donovan Sadiq, Demetra K, and I am the 5-star general. Tonight we're going to talk about a little bit of everything, but we're going to talk about the legend himself, Brother Malcolm. Happy birthday, my brother. And some of y'all that's faking, time to sit your monkey down. Say, man, I want to say top of the evening to y'all and welcome to another episode of the War Zone. We back in the building. How y'all doing tonight, Demetra and Donovan?
Loving life. Just loving life.
Yeah. Well, today's a special day. And before we start, I need everybody to push the share button. Yeah, we can talk about a lot of things, but I need you to push the share button. If you're a real black man or a black woman, I need you to push the share button. Tonight we're gonna celebrate a brother that made it possible for us to be able to even do half the stuff that we do. Sacrificed his life, died poor, died as a martyr. And tonight, I'm gonna put my foot in some of y'all for disrespecting him. We're talking about Brother Malcolm. Happy birthday to my brother, which it should be a national holiday. So I need all y'all to push the share button. Share it to your people, share it to your groups. Don't get scared now. Don't get scared. We nonpartisan and we talk a good game, but I think each and every one of us that sit on this panel every night is pro-black. So bottom line, it's gonna be some nights where the blackness gonna shine. And tonight is one of them nights. Demetra, you got it. What's going on, mama?
So I'd like to say once again, hello to everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here. As Brother Gary just alluded to, today is a very special day. It is the 95th birthday of Brother Malcolm X. I was born in 1925. And of course, I don't need to give you guys a whole history lesson of Malcolm X, but we're going to talk about a whole host of things in regards to Malcolm X within the next few minutes. But today I put up a post, and I always say this. You know, don't talk about it, be about it. You know, especially on today where it is Malcolm X's birthday, a lot of people will put up pictures and, you know, a quote here and there, but it's like, it's one thing to be a quotologist, as my father always says, but it's another thing to actually do the work. Because we could talk about Malcolm X all day and night, but are we actually doing the things that he called us to do? It's been gone 55 years. He was murdered 55 years ago. So even before that time, all the things that he was asking us to do, they still apply today. It's almost like we're stuck in time, like we haven't moved the ball in 55 years. If you ever listen to a Malcolm X speech today, you think, those same things are still going on. Nothing has gotten better, as he called us back in the day, for the so-called Negro. Nothing has gotten better for us at all, whether politically, financially, justice, equality, nothing. Nothing has gotten better for us. And I get, like, a lot of times when I listen to Malcolm's stuff, I get sad because it's like, this man was murdered, and as Gary said, he died penniless to try to liberate Black people. And all we've done, and I say we, and I mean all of us, all we've done we've let him down completely. Him and a whole host of other people that's gone before him. You think about it, somebody like Malcolm, you know, he could have gone on and did anything he wanted to do, but he decided to give his life, and he knew he was a marked man, but he kept going. He wanted to see Black people liberated, and he called upon us, Black people, to stop looking for The very same people who brought us over here as product and cargo, stop looking to them to save us. He also admonished us for following so-called Black leaders, because he said oftentimes the Black leaders were worse than the white people, because they were always trying to get their piece of the pie, trying to sell us a false dream that they knew would never come true. And just like clockwork, we would always go along with it. And so flash forward to 2020, we are still in that very state. Case in point, we are here in election season, and you hear so many people telling other people, especially Black people, go ahead and vote for the lesser of two evils. What did Malcolm X say to us about voting for the lesser of two evils? He says, voting for evil is still choosing evil. You're like choosing a master to serve, whether it's Trump, whether it's Biden. You're still trying to decide which master is going to be a better master, which evil is the lesser evil, right? So this time that we're here, we want to get into it. So if you guys have anything you want to talk about in regards to Malcolm X, any questions, anything, go ahead and bring it up in the comment section. We would love to have that conversation with you. But because yesterday we decided we're going to talk about something else, and then it just hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, oh my God, we can't talk about anything else tomorrow but Malcolm X, because it is his 95th birthday, and we need to talk about the things that he asked us to do. And I want to have a discussion with everybody on what can we do as Black people to move the ball forward and to actually fulfill the things that he called us to do over 55 years ago.
Amen. Amen. Again, happy birthday to Malcolm. And, fast forward and into the future, a lot of what he said has actually taken place. The white liberal has led us astray. You got these Black talkers. If you guys are reading the comments, I keep referring to the Black talkers, and people keep asking me, well, who is that? Now, here's the day of a man that has did the work in the Black community, and the Black talkers didn't make one statement, not one. But we keep electing these people as our leaders. Are they our leaders, or are they people that are there to lead us astray?
Right.
So
well,
I'm not.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I'm not giving up on my people, because some people today, I woke up and I put out all these stocks that I have to make decisions on. And you know what? Some people are waking up. I wish more of you guys would, and start taking ownership of what is going on. It's not right, or is it right, that I make my money make money for me? But now people are seeing what I'm saying, and what I'm trying to tell them to do, just like Malcolm was trying to tell people to do. Do for self. You can't go to another man and he's got a club in his hand and ask him for your freedom.
Absolutely.
There's a devil amongst us. And according to Brother Malcolm, it's the professional Negro. There's a devil amongst us. And according to Brother Malcolm, it's the professional Negro. Now, you all know him. He wears the fancy suits with the silk ties. He likes to hang around with the enemy a lot. He never seems to have time for you. There's only certain times that he has time for you. He never seems to do anything for you or your community. And yet you cannot decipher who the enemy truly is. Malcolm said a lot of profound things. And one of the most profound things that he's ever said, and I've said it before, is when the revolution starts, you're going to have to get rid of some of your own people. So for those that say, I shouldn't give up on my people, I get it. But in order for us to get to where we need to go, we're going to have to give up on some of them. And that's not just the professional Negro. That's the Negro that don't want to listen. That's the Negro that don't want to get their finances in order. That's the Negro that don't understand how important an education is. Did you know what he said about education? Basically, if you don't have an education, you are done. So everything that I fight for, I have those old guys in the back of my head when I'm fighting. And I take the lessons that they've taught me and I get out here and I bust my behind. But then you'll understand why I don't really F with some of y'all. Because the revolution started for me 8 years ago. And I got rid of some of you professional Negroes. Demetri.
And so there's a little bit of background. There's just a lot of people, and I'll give you a perfect example, kind of what you were saying, and to kind of tie into what Donovan was saying about our Negro leaders, if you will, not saying a peep about Brother Malcolm, right? So I was talking to someone the other day, an older gentleman in his 60s, and he says that he's just now learning about Malcolm X. He says because he saw some of the things I would post and things like that. You guys have seen my cover page of Malcolm X. Basically, it says if somebody puts their hands on you, you try to send it to the cemetery, you know. But so he's 60-something years old, and he's starting to learn about Malcolm X. And a lot of that is because they were taught, especially back then, that Malcolm X was evil. Malcolm X was the bad guy. Oh, Malcolm X is preaching hate. He's speaking, hateful about white people. But he said it time and time again, me speaking this way is not really about white people. It's about uplifting and trying to liberate Black people. But unfortunately, a lot of the leaders, even back then, some of the leaders, even when we were young, and some of the leaders now, they demonized Malcolm. Malcolm was the bad guy. And it was always this comparison between Malcolm and Martin. Martin was supposed to be the good one, turn the other cheek. When Malcolm says it's nonsensical to turn the other cheek. He always talked about as Muslims, we don't, initiate violence, but we're going to defend ourselves to the point to where you'll never, ever do it again. And so while Martin was teaching turn the other cheek, they were teaching, no, we're not going to turn the other cheek. It's by any means necessary. And so I'm with you, Donovan, in that these people who call themselves our Black leaders, and a lot of us follow, they won't even say anything about Malcolm X because you know why? They're afraid of white people. They're afraid of pissing off white donors and, just white people in general, even though Black people overwhelmingly, especially in politics, vote for them. They won't even honor Brother Malcolm. It's because they're afraid of white people. And he spoke about that a lot. And to Gary's point, these Negro leaders, hell, they sell Black people out all the time. If you don't believe me, walk through some of your neighborhoods. If you don't have what the white neighborhoods have and you have a Black representative, you've been sold out. And you're going to be sold out again when you walk to see yourself into the voting polls and vote for those people again.
You can't keep expecting the white politician to do a damn thing for you. Don't expect that. And don't be upset when it doesn't happen. It's not supposed to. That's why I don't get down on it. That's why it's easy for me to say I'm nonpartisan. See, but I keep my eye. And I've got to excuse me tonight because when I'm thinking about Malcolm and folks like that, I go into another thinking about keeping my eye on the professional Negro. I want to keep my eye on the likes of Benjamin Crump. I want to keep my eye on the likes of Lee Merritt. I keep my eye on Al Sharpton. I keep my eye on Jesse Jackson. I keep my eye on them politicians in the Black Caucus. I watch all you professional Negroes, and I've come to the conclusion that you are the problem. I can't worry about what the white man won't do for me, but I will say this. All the help that I've been getting has been from the white man. There's not one Negro politician in the city of Houston that can say what they've done to help my organization. And I don't ever come and ask for anything for me. It's always for my community. It's always for the kids. But there's not one Negro leader in the city of Houston that can contradict what I'm saying right now. So if you have a problem with me embracing the white man, then understand what Brother Malcolm said. See, I don't speak on it very much because it's personal to me. If that white man puts his arm around your shoulder, then you accept that man as your brother. But you Negro politicians ain't laying your arms around none of us. You ain't laying your arms around our school system. You ain't laying your arms around reparations. You laying your arms around anything that can put money in your pocket. And now you're mad at people like Donovan Monroe, Demetra Smith, and folks like that that's really out there preaching the sermons that need to be preached. You see what I'm saying? Claude Foster says, Black politics has not been about Black folks since 1965. Hell, Black politics could not protect the Voting Rights Act that was so many Black folks died for prior to 1965. Well, I tell you what, y'all prove him wrong. Everything Malcolm was teaching us, we're still dealing with it. Our school system is still messed up. Our people are still being beaten by the police. You see what I'm saying? So tell me where he was wrong. And what are you professional Negroes doing about it? Not a damn thing. Donovan?
The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. In Baltimore, Elijah Cummings' seat, and I hate when they say it's somebody's seat. That's the people's seat. That ain't nobody's personal property. It's the people's seat. Kwame Mafuse, who held the seat before Elijah Cummings, just got reelected to that seat, 71 years old. Now, it's not about ageism, but at 71 years old, what does Kwame Mafuse can bring to that neighborhood at 71 years old? Do you know what he said? The first thing he was going to do? He's going to go and deal with the educational system and building, bringing in developers and all that other stuff. How many times have we heard that in elections all over the country? And it's like what the general keeps fighting for. The foundation is the kids, the education system. But he just got reelected. So let's look at his record when he goes back to the Congress. Do you think Baltimore is going to get any better? I mean, if it was crap when he left, and now that he's back, it's even worse than when he left. At 71 years old, do you really think that that neighborhood is going to get any better? Demetra?
Well, I actually want to address a few points here, and I also want to address Claude's in a second. But so, Gary, I heard you say, the white politicians have actually done more for you than the Black ones. And I don't disagree or even think that's false. But Malcolm X also asked us to think about it. Why are white people, or let's say white politicians, so interested in our thing? Why are they always getting involved in our thing? It's because they want some say-so. They're not doing it just because. I mean, some of them might be, but most of them not. Most of them want some say-so. We talk about a George Soros all the time, the big-time billionaire donor to the Democratic Party. he has a large say-so in what they do. He, donates a lot to Black Lives Matter. Why is this big, wealthy white man wanting to get involved in Black people stuff to the tune of $30 to $40 million, right? The other thing I want to address too, when you said a white man puts his hand around your shoulder, Malcolm X also asked us the question, are white people our friends or are they friendly? Because there's a difference. Because at the end of the day, white people gonna do for white people what white people need to do. Those same white people that we call our friends, when it go down, you'll see just how much of a friend they actually are. And I want to address Claude's issue when he says Black politics have not been about Black folks since 1965. Hell, Black politics could not protect the voting rights that so many folks died for prior to 1965. And I agree with them. I always call it the false idea of civil rights, because I don't think, I'm not disagreeing with the brutality and all that other stuff that still continues today. But what civil rights did was make us think we were equal. And as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, you will never have civil rights until you have human rights. We were not and still not considered humans, but yet we want equality. Also, Elijah Muhammad said that the master is not going to give the slave equality, because then he will no longer be a master. Also, civil rights completely dilapidated our communities. Completely. Because we got the false idea that now I can go live among white people. Now white people will accept us. And we know that still isn't true. So we gave up everything we had to go drink, eat, and sleep among white people. And our situation as Black people got worse. Until this day, our politicians keep hollering about, equality, we need to be able to do this. And as Malcolm said, what on earth is wrong with Black people? You want to go stand in front of a white man's store and tell him to give you equality. And he says, our Black leaders, instead of telling us, forget what they got going over there. Let's go build our own stuff, so we don't have to beg white people to us, because they're not ever, I'm not talking about the ones individually. I'm talking about as a whole. We're never going to accept Black people. It's high time we stop begging them to accept us. They're never going to accept us until we accept ourselves. And we have not done that even in 2020.
Did you see the Michael Jordan documentary? Me neither. But millions of people, some on the thread and all around the country, can tell you everything about the exceptional Negro that Malcolm X talked about, but can't tell you how to invest their money, or tell you how to fix a car, or tell you how to start a business, or tell you anything of substance to save ourselves. This COVID-19, if anything, has shown us we are at the bottom of the economic scale when it comes to the economics of it, but we're at the top of the consumer scale. There's something wrong there. But yet everybody can tell you about Michael Jordan's tennis shoes, his affairs, how many kids he got, the white woman he's with now, but they can't tell you anything about what Malcolm was saying 55, almost 60 years ago, or anything that the current NOI is doing within the community. And I bring that up to say this, for those that are out there, Democrats, we are nonpartisan here. Are you guys aware, within that bill, $3 trillion that was proposed, it's not going to pass, that was proposed, millions of dollars was allocated to non-citizens, illegal residents, millions of dollars. ADOS wasn't even considered. If everybody gets a $1,200, $1,600 stimulus, that ain't a reparation. There was nothing there to specifically address us. And I say again, the Black talkers voted for this bill and say nothing about it, because they know, Demetra, what's the one way you can hide something from a Black person?
My mom used to hate that I said it all the time, but you hide it in a book. Basically,
anything that has
knowledge.
Right. Anything that has to do with reading. And they know you're not going to read these bills. Well, I read the bill. How the hell do you address non-residents? And with us being on the economic at the bottom of the system, JCPenney just filed for bankruptcy. Pier 1 just filed for bankruptcy. A lot of these companies that we start at as cashiers, as logistics in the back, that's what we're not going to go back to work. And they don't even address our issues, but they can give millions of dollars to non-illegals, and you Negroes are cool with it? I don't know.
Let me say this here. Claude makes a good point. Even if they acknowledge a black agenda, that means that, Malcolm had a black agenda. And they won't acknowledge a black agenda. So I'm going to ask you what Claude has. How many black elected officials have acknowledged Malcolm's birthday? Black folk, you ain't important.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't important. You feel me? See, right now we talk about civil rights and how they're violating our civil rights. And I want you to remember where Malcolm went right before he died. This ain't a violation of civil rights with what's going on with the stimulus, COVID-19, everyday life. This is a violation of human rights. This is a violation of human rights. But our people that we, run into them polls to vote for, they won't even do nothing about a violation of human rights. They want you to believe that's what they doing. But they lying and they faking. So I just want to say this one cuss word, if y'all don't mind. It's called shit. You don't mind, do you? Jesse Jackson, you ain't shit. John Lewis, you ain't shit. Bless you, Elijah, wherever you may be, you ain't shit. The man that just took his seat, you ain't shit. Kamala, you ain't shit. Cory Booker, you ain't shit. Because you will not stand up for us in 2020. I don't give a damn what you did in 65 right about now. What you did in 65, you had to do. I'm talking about what you're doing right now. I don't want to hear nothing about, he old, man. He's still sitting his ass in that seat. So when I say what I say, I meant what I said. These black elected officials that ain't doing nothing for the black man and the black woman and the black children, you ain't shit.
I was just looking on Twitter to see if I can see anything in regards to any black leaders say anything about him. Barbara Lee said something. That's what I found so far, Barbara Lee. But let's talk about Joe Biden just for a second. And I know some of y'all might get mad, but it is what it is.
Jim Crow Joe? Are you talking about Jim Crow Joe?
Jim Crow Joe, Dixiecrat Joe, that Joe, right? So Joe Biden is going to overwhelmingly benefit from the black vote, right? Now, you would think he would be interested to some degree of black liberation, and per his Lift Every Voice plan or whatever it was, I don't know. I didn't really get off into it. I didn't see anything that really excited me, but you would think he would at least acknowledge Malcolm X, because Malcolm X was for the liberation of black people. Now, also going in line with Joe Biden, Malcolm X also said for any black person that votes for the lying liberals, the Democrats, you are a traitor to your race, because you know that the Democrats, and listen, nonpartisan here, but you know that the Democrats continuously lie to black people. They've been doing it since even before 1965, just lying. And we've given our allegiance to the Democrats, and they have not given us anything. Even then, Malcolm X was saying, he was admonishing the NAACP. He said, all that they claim they do, They have not made anything better for the so-called Negro in America. Now, this was 55 years ago he was saying this.
The NAACP ain't shit.
Right. But so to that point, here's Joe Biden, who is probably, I don't know, he may or may not win, but he's definitely going to get a lion's share of the black vote. And black people who are going to vote for Joe Biden can't even tell you really what they're going to get out of doing it. Because he sure as hell, but he sure as hell hasn't said that he was going to do anything for black people. And if you look at that Lift Every Voice plan that he has, I guess that's supposed to be for black people, it's all talking about being tough on crime. You guys have seen Joe Biden's history on being tough on crime. That means tough on black people. And so here we are again, going to trust that he has the best interest for black people at heart. He wants to put, I think it's 90 million or 900, I don't know, $1 million into stopping gun control in the black community and doing, this crime shit. Like we good, Joe. Go ahead.
No. Black Lives Matter ain't shit.
So the point here is we as black people have to wake up and stop, as Donovan said, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting this different results because it is insanity. How long are we going to continue to vote for a party to our demise? Because that's what we're doing. If any of those parties cared anything about black people, we would not still be in the condition we are in. Now, I'm not absolving black people of some of the things that are going on with us. We got a role to play in it too. But the political parties, they have the power to help us by laws and reparations and all of that, but they won't do it because we don't make them.
All of them I said wasn't shit. I mean that. They ain't shit. But I want to ask y'all a question. Would you eat fart? Would you eat fart? You eat fart every day with politics. Every black person that's listening to me right now, I'm gonna only speak to the African Americans for a second. You eat, and like my Aunt Fatty, God bless her, she had a mouth on her. She say you eat fart. Let me tell you why. This is how the Democrats think. They gonna spoon feed you fat till you get old enough to eat shit. They've been spoon feeding us fat for 60 years. And now they ready to make us all eat shit. These people are a joke. Somebody asked me, was I talking about the mayor of Houston? Sylvester Turner ain't shit. I'm calling them out. If y'all know some black politicians in your area. Now, Al said, would Brother Malcolm want you to call out the bad politicians? Let's talk about the good ones. Well, Al named me a black good one. Go ahead.
Malcolm talked about the bad politicians all the time.
Exactly.
All the time. He said they are actually worse because they do it to their own people to enrich themselves. They sell us out to enrich themselves. A lot of the there's a few good ones. I'm gonna think about some of them if some of them come to mind. But they do it to us the most. So hell yeah, they should be called out. But the people who continue to vote for them should be called out too.
The biggest myth that we have with everything that's going on is we need a seat at the table. This is what black politicians tell you. That's why they operate the way they operate. We got to get a seat at the table. I don't want to sit at that table. Why you just don't get our own table? If we got our own table, we can eat the way we want to eat. We can lick our fingers. We can do whatever we want to do sitting at our own table. But they ain't gonna never get us our own table because they too busy eating the crumbs off the one they've been invited to. So we got to put in our mind, stop being upset with people who never had your best interest at heart to begin with. You got to give checkups from the neck up to these black politicians. They are the ones who should be our gatekeepers. And they ain't doing nothing. You got another one you can name? Name me a black politician, Donovan. I don't care where you from.
A good one?
No, just any one of them right
now. Maureen Brown.
She ain't shit either. I'm telling you tonight, you're going to get it. You're going to get it. Because the position that we in, y'all ain't done shit. You ain't going to do shit, and you ain't never been shit. You take some hell of a pictures, though.
You know, it's funny because I know a lot of people on here say that I talk about wealth and money and all these other things. Now, we are in this COVID situation. Look at your contemporaries and look at yourself. Do you think white people are out here worried about, oh, you know, am I going to make the rent or I'm going to got a car payment or nothing? No, they have a wealth base that they don't have to worry about it. The Mexicans practice group economics and the government is giving them millions of dollars that they can take back to Mexico and go live damn good. But they don't address our issues. And Malcolm talked about that. So what? You can eat with the white man. You know, we get excited because we can go to the toilet next to the white man. And it's not just a white thing is what I'm talking about. So a good example, like Wanda says, so who do you think should be the president of this country? It doesn't matter because they're not going to put up anybody that's worth, as Monroe said, shit. Donald Trump or Joe Biden. Nothing. I mean, I'm not saying nothing. They have different policies, but we had a black president, and what did he do for us?
He wasn't shit.
There you go. So what's the difference? Who should be the president of this country? The 5-star general. He was a community organizer. He was a community organizer.
I'll tell you what I would do first. If I was the president, free liquor to everybody on Sunday. Everybody gonna get $5,000 of food stamps every month. It's not an issue. It's not even. You can't even debate that. You're gonna get it, and if you don't take it, we're gonna send you off to another country.
That's right. Executive orders.
Reparations. If I can make the decision, y'all getting 100 G's a month for the rest of your life. You deserve it. See, I'm gonna tell you something. No, they wouldn't like me, man. You wouldn't have to pay for no gas. If I don't have to pay for gas for my vehicles, then you don't have to pay for gas. College would be free, tuition free across the country. Go to school for free. Go to school for free. And honestly, educational wise, every black school in the country, I need you to take $5 million for every single one of them, elementary to high school. And I want you to put it inside of that school and get the technology up to where it needs to be.
Absolutely.
Black children can learn just as well as anybody else.
Exactly. Huey Newton says, Ayanna Pressley is a great politician. Okay, I'm not going to disagree with you. She just got into the House. AOC and all these black women that are the backbone of the Democratic Party, you know, all that bullshit that everybody's buying into. Nancy Pelosi just smacked the shit out of them and they voted for the bill. All of them. So, you know, and so Huey, and I love your show, by the way. If you guys get a chance, check out Huey Newton's show. She just got into the House. So what legislation has she done but the Democratic legislation? What has she done in her community? I challenge anybody for any of these politicians, look at their congressional record. It's public record. If there isn't a black agenda in there and you have a black representative, you got a problem.
Well, let me ask this question because it's It's a big issue. Has any candidate during this cycle that's running for president actually just point blank said, this is my black agenda? Because we ain't shit.
Well, you know, a reason. Well, wait, real quick, Demetria. A reason why they can't say that point blank is because somebody else controls the agenda. When you say that, then the Democratic Party is not going to give you any money. You can forget that. What, you want to do something for black people? Oh no. Even Obama tried that. Oh no, we're not doing that.
I just want to say this too, in regards to your black politicians, right? Look at the condition of your neighborhoods. Why is it that they allow all the other, you know, the foreigners to come in and set up all this bull caca stuff in the neighborhood, whether it be liquor stores, pawn shops, you know, just a whole host of stuff we don't necessarily need, right? Why aren't they caping more so for black businesses to be in black communities, right? Answer that. And why would you continue to vote for somebody who continuously does that for you? All right. My next thing I want to talk about is Ayanna Pressley. She capes for Hispanics too. She's a big time DACA proponent as well. Because I remember a couple months ago, they were dragging her on Twitter. Like, wait a minute. You talk more about DACA and, you know, and caping for Hispanics than you do your own people. And she had to come back and say, oh, I love black people. As a black woman, you shouldn't even have to say I love black people. That should come out of your mouth first. Nobody should have to take you to task before you have to, you know, declare I love black people. And Terry Hayes, and I'm paraphrasing your comment, but you said, and I think I'm reading your comment right, but you said President Obama wasn't just the president of black people. Let me get it right, because I don't want to stop it, Donovan. I don't want to mistake you. Let me see. You say he wasn't a black president for just black people. Obama was a black man that was America's president for equality for all. Let that marinate just a hot second. You said that he was a black man that was the president for equality for all. Well, I'm assuming you a black man. What equality have you benefited from lately? I'm not talking about you as an individual. I'm talking about as black people. What equality did you get under the Obama administration? And please, 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 I beg you, if beggeth is even a word, stop telling that lie. Because Terry, you seem like you got a good head on your shoulders and you're very influential. But for you to keep perpetuating that lie, basically stating that, oh, he couldn't do nothing for black people. Why not? Every other president does something for their people. Or how about this? Obama did something for everybody else. Are we not, as black people, worthy enough to have something done for us? Why do we get left out of it? Stop making excuses for Obama. In the words of Gary, he ain't shit. He didn't do shit for black people. So stop making excuses. Because when you do that, and you guys big up Obama as the first black president, you are high off of symbolism. But you got lint in your pocket under the Obama administration.
Huey Newton says, AOC, they fight for the people every day. She is doing for her community. They label her a crazy socialist. Now, Huey, loved your show, brother. As intelligent as you are, AOC does for her people. She ain't black. She does for her people. As a matter of fact, AOC is trying to get in on the reparations deal if we do get a check. Wasn't it AOC that says, I've got black in me, but that doesn't necessarily make me black? That's what she said.
This is how I feel about Obama. He ain't shit. The Congressional Black Caucus, when you go to your convention, bring you a bunch of these. Because you ain't shit either. Many people ain't working for us, man.
Terry says Obama didn't do anything for anyone, in my opinion, so don't group me with that group. Okay, Terry, love your mind, bro. I do love your mind, but you got to remember, it was because Obama was using executive orders that the Republicans had a shit fit. And what one of the executive orders that he did, they're arguing it right now in the Supreme Court, DACA, for a specific group. Then he did the Dreamers Act for a specific group. So you can't sit there and say that he didn't do anything for certain people. We can say for a fact he didn't do shit for us. We can say that.
And so
The only way we're gonna get to the promised land here, because he says, I would say this: Black America thought having a black man as president would lead them to the promised land. The only way we're gonna get to the promised land, and Dimitri, you can joke, if we get a goddamn Uber. I'm off the chain tonight, baby.
what you eat? Give me some.
Exactly. Mary Courtney says, what are we going to do about it? Well, I always say, start from where you are. The only way we are going to get out of this situation is reparations. And they've already done the numbers. 17 trillion initial payment, which comes out to about $450,000 a month. Then 3 trillion for 25 years after that. Now, when you have $450,000 in your hand every month, I'm sure you can fix your own problems.
So I agree with reparations, but that ain't coming tomorrow, right? So there's things that we can do. And Malcolm asked us to, as they all have, because Malcolm's family, his father and his mom, they studied under Marcus Garvey. So that whole ideology of group economics, up you mighty nation, accomplish what you will. That's what we have to do. We gotta stop looking for other people to save us. The Democrats aren't going to save us. The Republicans aren't going to save us. Nobody's coming to save us but us, period. So every time you as Black people walk into the stores of people who do not look like you, you're actually not helping to save us. Any and every chance you get to put Black dollars into the Black community, that is how you save us. Stop engaging in activity that's actually hurting us. We do that every day, and we're just so conditioned. Because it's not even said, it doesn't matter who's in the White House. It hasn't mattered to Black people ever. As Malcolm X said, we are political football. They're going to kick us back and forth to whoever's going to benefit from Black people, but we never get anything for our votes. We have to save ourselves.
So Mary Courtney, you just said, she said, what are we going to do about it? You know, I had a homeboy that was a crackhead named Come Clean. I mean, like a bottle of Clorox too. His name was Come Clean. And he had a little, one of them little pianos, them little keyboards, them little Casio keyboards. And he would walk around and he would sing with this keyboard all day. And he had a song that would answer Mary's question. She said, what are we going to do about it? And the name of his song was Not a Goddamn Thing. Nothing. We ain't going to do nothing about it. So that leads me to Mary's second question. And she keeps asking. So I'm going to ask this question. Demetra K., would you be interested in creating and running a group regarding a whole new plan for Black folks in the South? I know that it's something that you are very, very, very well versed in and speak on daily. I would love to participate and follow through on any actions.
The answer to that is yes. Come to the Demetra K page on Facebook, and you will already be doing that. No, but seriously, in all seriousness, I don't think we need another group. I just think we just need to each one. Like we're on here tonight, and we're trying to impart a little bit that we know. If you've learned something from what we said tonight, Go talk to somebody next to you and impart that wisdom upon them, and it'll spread. But I mean, starting another group, I personally don't have time. I got like 100 hats that I wear, but I just think we just need to do our best to see. Like, we got to educate ourselves, right? The one thing I would admonish us as Black people is we don't read. We don't do the research. We just take people and things at face value, right? As my dad says, and the Muslims always say, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. So a lot of times people say stuff to us and we just run away with it. Oh, it must be true because it was on Facebook, you know? But we need to go and actually get the knowledge so we can actually help other people. Now, I'll be more than happy, you know, to be instrumental as far as that is concerned. I know the South, you guys are a whole different beast. Y'all love your Bibles and you love your Democrats.
And they love the church.
Well, let me ask this question. Terry wants this question asked. Since you guys going to put me on blast, what did you actually want Obama to do for Black people? I'm gonna answer that first. Let me sing that song again. Not a goddamn thing. I didn't vote for him. I knew he would be ineffective. I didn't expect him to do a goddamn thing, and he lived up to my expectations. Demetra, what did you expect Obama to do?
I expected Obama as a Black man, because he ran as a Black man, catered to Black people. I expected for him to do things for Black people, like reparations would be nice, but instead he spoke against reparations for Black people. I would have expected him to really put his ass on the line regarding all of the police brutality that was going on and went up under his administration. But the most he could say was, well, if I had a son, in regards to Trayvon Martin, I would be scared too. No, we need you to go in there and whip the pen around. Start writing some executive orders to protect your people. And another thing I really would have loved him to do, since he was commuting people's sentences and all of that, how come he didn't free no Black Panthers? Anybody who went to 3rd grade education has heard of COINTELPRO and know that most of those Black Panthers were in there on some bullcocking. How come he didn't let not one of them? I mean, I could go on forever, but I think we need to stop saying there was nothing he could do for us, because he did stuff for other people unapologetically.
Donovan, same question. What did you expect Obama to do for Black America?
Well, like I said, as a person coming out of Chicago, I would have thought he would have put an executive order in regards to the reformation of the police departments across the country, with Black people being slapped down and shot in the streets, and releasing political prisoners, reparations, not just talk about it, actually put in a form to do it. Hell, Trump just created a space force that we don't need. He had, for 2 years, he had both sets of Congress. So all of this could have been done within the first 2 years. But with a minority in the Senate, Mitch McConnell obstructed the next 6 years. But Black folks would be the first to say, well, we don't have the majority, so that, our congressmen can't do anything. Bullshit. Bullshit. If Nancy Pelosi wants her bills passed, you could be in the minority and hold up the legislation and say, well, Nancy, we'll go with it. We'll give you the $3 trillion, but we need reparations in the bill right now, or it's not passing. But we're not getting that.
Here's a question from James Pritchett. So give us y'all top 5 Black representatives.
I'm going to say this. If y'all can think of somebody who even comes close to an Adam Clayton Powell Jr., I'm with it. But I haven't seen anybody with the passion. Now, Adam Clayton Powell has been gone since the 70s, but that man was unapologetic about Black people. He had no problem telling white supremacy and anybody that didn't like Black people to kiss his ass. So until we get some more people like that in office or even come close to it. I can't think of one.
Donovan, your top 5 black representatives.
Okay, I'm just off the top of my head. Patrice Lumumba, Idi Amin, Jomo Kenyatta, Robert Mugabe until he got old, super old. And I'd have to say George Clinton, paint the White House black.
Now I'm gonna answer that. If any black representative can escape this toilet paper, then I will save their name. I will say their name. We do not have black representation. I'm sorry. We don't have it. You watching these people open up bars and all kinds of stuff across the country. But you notice our representation ain't never asked the question. When you gonna start some tours in the White House? We'll tell our people to go back to work and do the normal thing when they come back and visit the White House. See, they not asking no questions right now. Right. Because their mind is so on this stimulus where they making money. We have no black representation. I'm sorry. And inside of that statement, yeah, you do have a Ron Reynolds. That's not even 1% of the African-American politicians. I'm sorry. We have no black representation.
Claude Foster says Obama was important on a number of levels, and he passed national health care, which directly benefited black people. Okay, Claude, I agree with you. You're correct. Anything that benefits other people and we get the residual, we're only 13% of the population. So who do you think who is going to get the most benefit out of that? If we're only 13% of the population, we're only going to get 13% of the benefit of that. What we got to stop doing, when he does it for everybody, that's great. We want our people to do for us. We are less than 12 years away from being a slave, and nobody's addressing that because we have no wealth. I don't care, oh, he gives us health care. Okay, he gave us health care. Most of us don't go to the doctor when we got a toothache. We don't go. We don't work out. We eat hog maws and all that other good stuff. So that really does, it doesn't matter. What is he going to do? What are these politicians doing specifically? Stop incorporating everybody else into our business. Specifically, what are they doing for their people? Because I can tell you, the Hispanic politicians out here in California, and probably down there in Houston too, and in New York, they're doing for their people. Every state college in California has a dream office. A dream office. Where's ours? Where's Blacktown?
And every time we get in this discussion, we get a statement. Jalen Matthews Brown Miller. Why is Trump taking credit for black unemployment numbers? Get your mind off of Trump. Put your mind on these professional Negroes that ain't doing nothing for us.
Right.
And Trump is in a position that's very high.
Yeah.
We got some local officials that are tanking us every day.
Right. So let me answer that for Jalen, because I'm a numbers guy when it comes to these statistics. We all know in the black community, when the federal government puts out black unemployment is 5%. Oh, wow. Yeah, let's do a lap. We know that it's 25%, because look at our communities. How many of J-Bone and Roxy are sitting on the corner over there unemployed and have nothing to do? We know the numbers don't even make sense. So it doesn't matter he wants to take credit for that, because if you've taken economics in school, you can't come in less than 4 years and say, look what I did. The Clinton economic miracle in the 90s was a result of the Reagan-Bush tax cuts. It takes years for that to take effect. It doesn't happen overnight. You know, and that's just something you got to learn in school. The numbers never jive. Whenever federal numbers pertaining to Black people are presented, it's almost double what you see on that paper.
So the revolution is starting. What type of Black leader should stand in front of the army?
You know, I'm just at this point too. We've heard about and seen many Black leaders come before us, even before a lot of us were born, and they're not here anymore. So when I hear Negroes talking about we need a leader, you might say that, but you don't really want a leader. You know why? Because Black people, not all of us, but a good amount of us, have a hard time following. So you're just being disingenuous when we say we need a Black leader. We've had plenty of them. Hell, we still got one in the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He's been leading Black people for over 60 years, most of his life. And most Black people, a lot of Black people, I should say, tear him down. He's been trying to liberate Black people for the longest. But people get caught up into nonsense. So you're not interested in a Black leader. And I ask this all the time. Who is the leader of white people? I ain't talking about Trump. Who's the leader of Mexican people? Who's the leader of Asian people? Who's the leader of the LGBTQ community? Like, why do we need a leader? Why can't we be our own leader? Is there something wrong with us? You know, as they say, we're pyramid builders. We built this world, but yet we can't figure out how to get out of the hell we're under in America. We need a leader. I mean, honestly, and then people talk about, you know, Obama did do something for Black people, healthcare. We're talking about specifically, like DACA was specifically for predominantly Mexicans or Hispanics. That was for them. The things they did for Muslims and the gay community and the group of women. We ain't talking about Black women, we're talking about white. That group specifically for, like, what did Black people get specifically? Can anybody just name one thing specifically Obama did for Black people?
No, they can't. We've asked that question 1,000 times.
I know, and it's sickening because that's why I said you guys talk about you want a Black leader. You don't. You don't want a Black leader because the minute a Black leader trying to put something in here, you're gonna refute everything he's saying. Well, you know, Obama did something for us.
Let me make this a little personal. Every day I wake up, I fight battles for Black people. And the one time I needed my Black people to stand with me was when the school board decided to ban me unconstitutionally. But you know who I had to get in the courtroom? I had Larry McKenzie, who I did the video with today. But the rest of my witnesses were white. Community didn't stand up for me. My attorney was white. Say, man, what you want, you already have. You have Black leadership. Why wouldn't you follow me if I fight for education? Can you name one Black man in America that took on a whole school system by itself and crippled them, made them lose money, sent folks to jail, made superintendents resign, but I can't get you to walk in a school board meeting with me? You have Black leadership. You won't follow them. And you know why you won't follow them? And I'm just say this point blank, Donovan, you chime in. Because you don't have the nuts to follow them. We've been exposing voting fraud on this show from day one. And you people still are prepared to cast a vote with a mail-in ballot. You have Black leadership, but you don't have the nuts to follow it. Final thoughts, Demetri.
Can you put Al's comment up on there about Dr. Claude Anderson?
Hold on. A comment about Dr. Claude Anderson?
By Al.
Okay, there you go.
All right. So he says Dr. Claude Anderson, Dr. Umar Johnson, and Nuri Muhammad are true Black leaders. And then Terry says, but Al Jackson, why would the Black community follow them? Why not? Dr. Claude Anderson has been giving us the blueprint to group economics for Black people. He's been doing it for decades. Okay. Dr. Umar Johnson, he might be a little off. I don't know what's going on with him. You know, they say sometimes geniuses have a little moment or something. But to Gary's point, he's been trying to school us about the education system for Black people. Dr. Umar's been trying to put us up on game. And Nuri Muhammad, I have his book, but I don't have it with me here. He talks to Black people about being in good, conducive relationships, on how to keep Black men and women together. And so when you say, why should we follow them? That's something you should already know. That shouldn't even be a question. But that's what I said, though. We're not interested in Black leaders. Because every time somebody bring up a name, well, why? I mean, to me, those are people, those names should be household names in the Black community. Why are you asking Al why? You should already know those things. But let me just close with this. Either we gonna talk about Malcolm or we gonna do Malcolm, period. And all the things he called us to do back then, we should have been doing. We should not still be having this conversation of who should we follow and what should we do. All the blueprints are there. They've been there for almost 100 years. We just have to decide as Black people what we're going to follow and that we want to win, that we do not want to continue on in the dead state that we are in. If somebody is trying to give you the game, listen, or at least go research and see if it's true. But we are out of time. Do you guys hear Donovan always saying that we are 12 years from a slave? That's because in 12 years, Black people are going to be out of money. And when there's no money, there's no power. And that's why I differ with reparations completely solving our problems. Because if we get that money, we're going to give 97% of that back. So they might as well keep it until we fix what we have going on in here and here where we feel like we're not worthy to have a good life. I am a student of Malcolm. I don't talk Malcolm, I do Malcolm. So I impress upon you guys to do the same.
Donovan?
Okay, great. I'm going to address Earl Jones. He says 10,000 Black persons with 10,000 ideas of what to do will not achieve much, if anything. I respect your opinion, but guess what? It's a start. You got to start where you're at. Now, the Black politicians that I named, going with what Demetra just said, half of y'all don't even know who those people are. And I would press upon you to go and research and look these people up. Patrice Lumumba was killed in the Congo. Idi Amin kicked the Asians out of his country so that his people could learn economics and take the fruits of their labor. Jomo Kenyatta built modern day Kenya as we know it today. Nkrumah of Ghana, one of the most beautiful countries in Africa and most stable countries in Africa. And I can go on and on and on. Emperor Haile Selassie and all these other people. Half of the people that I'm talking to right now have never even heard of these people. I would strongly recommend you guys look these people up, because guess who else interacted with these people? The guy behind me, Malcolm X. We're 12 years away from being a slave, you guys. This is some serious stuff, but we got to start where we're at. Now, my platform is about the money. Cut me my check. Demetra's absolutely right. 97% of you guys are going to just, give it right back to the white man. But guess what? 3% of us ain't going to do that. Happy birthday, Malcolm X.
You put Malcolm's name in your mouth and you act like you're down with the revolution. if you're my age, 52 years old, ain't nobody got to tell you what we got to do right now. Ain't nobody got to keep preaching no damn sermon to you on what we got to do right now. I want you to treat the revolution like a bad bee. You scared to run up on her, huh? Nah, you ain't scared to run up on her. You'll run up on her with your eyes closed. You're going to shoot your shot. But here's my thing. I don't need to come together with a bunch of people. See, when I first started what I was doing, I wanted to work with everybody that wanted to work with me. And then I figured out that I was too serious about this because I kept getting into it with them. You know, when we do something, all of a sudden we had to go back and we had to redo it. Or now I don't like the way that you're doing it. You got to tone it down a little bit. If you are toned down right now with the state of Black America, you are the damn problem. If you are not pissed off with the product that we see every day, then you are the damn problem. So my aggravation when I stand in front of city council is justified. My aggravation when I stand in front of these school boards is justified. My aggravation when I stand and I speak at these youngsters' funerals is justified. I'm not the problem. I'm in the fight. You want to walk in my shoes? Because if you decide to walk in my shoes or walk in Demetrius' shoes or Donovan's shoes, a lot of people ain't gonna fuck with you no more. You ain't gonna have no friends like talking about me. You might lose your family, bro. You might lose your job, man. And that's the reason I know that we ain't gonna find no true Black leadership. Because you ain't ready for what is about to happen. So I'm gonna keep my eyes on you professional Negroes. I know who you are. I know where you hide out. And it is what it is. And any one of y'all in the city of Houston that want to raise some damn hell, you want to move some mountains, my number 832-591-9681. What the hell you waiting on, homeboy? Because when I walk in the room, I'm the weatherman. I change the forecast, partner. Republican, Democrat, whatever. I ain't standing outside of the police station protesting. I'm going inside. Now, the other night, somebody said, man, you ain't gonna never get A.B. Chambers, the superintendent of A-Leaf ISD, on this show. I actually get to speak to Mr. Chambers tomorrow. Because when some of us Negroes demand something, we actually get it. Wake up, man. The revolution ain't upon you. We've been in the middle of the revolution for 463 years. And if you still need instruction on what we need to do, then you are truly the problem. I want to thank my co-host, Donovan Sadiq, Demetra K. And you know me, I'm the 5-star general. I must say, we brought it tonight. Tomorrow night, I'm going to take you back to 1975 and an Astrodome with about 85,000 people in it. And they called it the Love You Blue era. Perennial. The years that he was in the league. All pro. Vernon Perry. From the Houston Oilers tomorrow night. In the war zone. Keep Malcolm name out your mouth if you ain't ready to start some shit. That's real, there, I know.